don't think I am ever going to get over the absolute delight of listening to our grand mountain snore. Yeah, I I I don't know how you would sleep through that, because can you imagine? It might feel like small earthquakes while Mauanu is snoring and like the ground is just rumbling under you. Maybe you can adapt to kind of feeling comfortable with the idea that clearly that's a comforting thing. Like maybe people who learn how to really enjoy being on a ship and it rocking side to side just simply means that you know for certain that your ship is doing well and better than it suddenly striking something and no longer moving. That's the only way I could think you could sleep through that. But I'm glad that Mauanu, our wonderful Anbu, is actually getting some sleep, because she was extremely tired, and we have not yet learned exactly the kinds of things that she needs in order to hear the lullabies that she needs. Also, our villagers are scattered about, quite busy, as they get a little bit closer to completing the very first flop house, which is going to be the first of the makeshift houses that we're actually going to need. Also, it looks like, oh my gosh, it looks like we're out of room here at the clay gathering camp for having the clay gathered from these spots. And I don't think I can actually, yeah, we can't actually move this gathering camp. So maybe we'll just have to tell people to like come and harvest from these spots for now, and to kind of do it with high priority so we can haul the clay over here and get the flop house built. Oh my, what's this? The scavenging party has returned, and they brought back 15 mushrooms and 10 herbs, which are wonderful for us. And now that the scavenging party wants to go out again, we can have a conversation about like, oh, the ruined settlements that they saw in the distance as we enter this mountain range once more. But we don't have enough scavenging rations to get there. There is a mine that we can send them to so they can go out to get some iron ore and salt. I imagine that they're extremely adventurous to feel confident enough to go do that. All right, getting closer on the flop house. And I think, did we just finish the research we needed though? On, was that building upgrades? Okay, I think that may have been, was that building upgrades, or are we just like out of the things we need for dung collecting? Because we were talking about dung collecting last time. Also, hello everyone, and welcome back to our adventures here in the Wandering Village, where we are making some headway in being able to do some of our research, and where I wanted to say thank you for your patience. Unfortunately, I am still working my way through some of the health issues that have become part of my days. However, I'm really hopeful that we'll be able to overcome those sooner than later, or at least learn how to work with them better so that we can carry on our adventures more regularly. I missed Mauanu, and I may or may not have, okay, I definitely did, gone down a gigantic rabbit hole of learning so much about species that practice different forms of symbiosis in an attempt to learn how we could see ourselves working with Mauanu. For instance, are we going to be beneficial mutual symbiotic creatures living on her back, or are we going to go ahead and make a discipliner that will stab her in the back? Heck no. Are we going to sacrifice villagers to feed her? Revolts? Oh wait, I didn't know that revolts and cults are an issue. Okay, we might need to look into those too. I think we're just like out of clay across the board in order to continue our research. So maybe what we need to do right now is we really just need several people harvesting these clay deposits that are nearby. And we'll have to give this dry clay deposit, oh wait, we'll go ahead and take this one off of being harvested. And we'll wait for the clay gathering camp to be ready. Let's see, high priority. What are these? Ooh, herbs. Yay! So the herbs have just started growing in the wild, which is nice. And I know you guys need a home. We've almost got enough clay. We need a lot more clay too. I wonder if we can get people people gathering clay. This is going to be the mycologist. We could have another clay gathering camp over here. That might help. I definitely think we need another spot to put down some of our materials. Yes, here we go. Material storage here. And then as we're starting to spread out and the villagers are starting to trip over one another, and as we're learning how important it is to have certain materials, I think having another material storage, maybe just like right here, is good. And then maybe if we have the ability, getting another clay gathering camp. That costs tools, and I'm just trying really hard not to focus on the tools. Oh wow, the flop house has been constructed. Yes. Okay, but when I say trying really hard not to focus too much on the tools, what I mean by that is like not using them up until we can figure out how to make them ourselves. Look at that, makeshift housing for up to 30 villagers. It's very low durability. People will not have, they need decoration over here. People do not have like good housing quality, but I think that at least puts a roof over everybody's heads right now, which is really, really, really what we needed. Let's see. And then how are we doing on everything else? I think, yeah, we're harvesting these clay deposits. This clay deposit is actually right outside of the, let's see, the clay gathering camp. We do get materials back. 100% refund. All right, we'll deconstruct this because we'll get our 3 tools back, and then maybe move the clay gathering camp to a better location in a little bit here. Also, the mining camp looks like it's about ready to get moved as well. They're finishing up clearing out some of these rock spots. Let's see, water tank constructed, that would be over here. We still need an air well. And I would really like to have the material storage. All right, we'll put that on a second. Like, if everything is higher, and highest priority, it just really feels like, okay, and the Biologist, probably medium priority too. It really feels like that's not very helpful for our people. Also, at least we could gather compost from these decayed mushrooms if we gathered them in time. And we were trying to figure out how to do the compost thing. We're starting to build up our clay again. And where, oh where? So there's the clay and compost heap. And when she's sleeping like this, I feel like it's kind of a catch-22. We definitely could do more exploring. And we also want to teach her how to sleep, but we need Ambu notes for that. We need somebody to like really spend time researching. Where is there's the Ambu doctor. I'm trying to remember, there was a scavenger's hut. Was it the smoking hut? Yes, it's the scavenging rations. So we need a few more of, we definitely want the smoking hut, and we need a few more planks in order to do that. And with the carpentry, I have a feeling we just really, really probably should think about having more carpentry soon, because where should we put that? Maybe carpentry could be over here where all these trees are? That's not really where our main, maybe in the middle is a good spot, like another carpentry spot. I think the sawmill next to these big logs. So another carpentry spot maybe right over here is probably not a bad idea if we're going to get some of our tools back. And if, let's see, refined resources, carpenter. Oh good, and we don't even need refined, like, we don't even need tools for the carpenter. That might be really useful. And if we're going to be harvesting a bunch of trees from over here and have a material storage that people will be bringing it to, maybe it won't be the worst idea in the world, especially if there's going to eventually be a sawmill right there. Maybe it wouldn't be the worst idea in the world to have like another carpenter maybe midway between the 2 areas. All right, we'll do medium on that. And the scavenging party has returned with 5 iron ore and 10 salt. And hopefully they also have returned with a few fascinating stories that they can share with us at some point. We're still outside of most areas that we might be able to gather anything until we manage to get the research on the scavenging rations done. But hopefully soon they will even be returning with more stories. I may have gotten ahead of myself a little bit with sheer excitement over adding to the lore of our villagers as they learn to become a village, and as we travel through the world using some very wonderful random story generating cards that I have gotten from a awesome group called Story Engine. And being able to pull from those cards, build a story, and keep track of it on some parchment. I love that idea, but I realized I was definitely getting ahead of myself on getting extra fun and extra bonus ways that we can deepen the lore of our world when we still have to go ahead and like actually make sure we know how to help people survive. That's kind of an issue right now. Let's see. Are there 1.5 million beets? Am I out of room to store beets? I may be out of room to store beets. We may need a pantry. We may need a lot of pantries. We may need to switch to beet soup and add another worker to the kitchen. All right, we have so many beets. We have 188 raw beets. Okay, I think we actually need less people on the farm when we can only plant beets right now. And instead, ooh, look at that, we can do some upgrades. Oh, I can't wait for that. Instead, we might need a second kitchen if we can get a second kitchen up. Let's see. And how many of the different foods can the kitchen store? Only 30. Thankfully, many of our villagers will soon be able to eat other things. We probably need another pantry over here to kind of help out with how many beets we have. So let's have like a low level on the pantry. And see, we're just learning. We're just learning. Oh, are there more people? 3 new villagers already. Oh boy. Do I have enough housing for everyone? We can house 66 people thanks to that one flop house. That is amazing. Let's see. And then see, we're learning. We're slowly but surely figuring out how to pull all of this together. And I think we'll get a little path going like this. And we have actually deconstructed, let's see, stone. I definitely want to make sure those tools are safe and don't get blown away if there's like some sort of sudden terrifying storm. And let's see, clay gathering camp. I wonder if this is just a good spot for the clay gathering camp for now. Just while it's here and we can deconstruct it once they finish. Possibly. And the material storage, we're gonna make sure, let's see. With the material storage, we can disable all or enable all and then disable tools. There we go. So I want to make sure we're not storing like things that don't belong over here just yet, but we could store mushrooms here. Ombu notes, no. Ancient notes? Valuable, see, that's what I mean. We could use those story generating cards I got to pull from and say that we're building ancient notes, and we could have traders in the future. Let's see, survival gear scattered around is probably pretty important. Fungal spores, ombu bile, compost, biogas. Let's see, kelp, oh my gosh, medicine for the ombu, salt cleansing weave, which is intricately woven fabric useful for filtration. Debris from the salvaging yard, excuse me. Glass, oh, we definitely need sand and glass. All right, let's see. And then clay is definitely something we want to have over here. Maybe not iron ore or iron just yet. And I don't think the stone slab stored here is what we're looking for. And we will allow it to store some of the wood planks though, because I think that'll be useful. What are we missing for our biologist? See, said wood planks. And we're gonna have the carpenter built pretty soon here. So that makes me happy. Also, people are moving around a little bit more. Let's see. And we can actually see where they're utilizing the paths. Oh, I didn't mean to make a double path, but now I'm kind of curious why I haven't been making double paths. As our village grows, that's probably going to be pretty useful. Let's see. And then coming over from the scavengers' huts and the flop houses. And then coming over from some of the other locations. That actually is pretty useful. Oh my gosh. And I mean, up to 42 people is really getting into the territory where I would start thinking about us being kind of a village. Our wonderful Ambu has been sleeping more or less this whole time. Let's see. All right. And then now let's get the research building up for the smoking hut so that we can start going on more forging missions. Let's also gather these herbs while they are ready. Because that's actually super important. And then eventually I'll figure out how to tell everybody to focus on their priorities. There we are. All right, still scattered around, still distributing our efforts in interesting, varied directions that probably aren't the most efficient, but perhaps reflect the fact that many of our villagers no doubt are used to living on their own for quite a while and having to make do with whatever they can like jerry-rig and live with independently, because it will have indeed been a long time since they're used to living in a big group and having to possibly discuss with others what the best way to pick our different directions and what the best jobs and what the best layouts of a place they can imagine living in for a long time might be. And now we can go ahead and add in a couple more carpenters to help us out with those wood planks that we so desperately need for our research. We can carry on with researching the smoking hut. And there we are, like there's those wood planks. Maybe having another carpenter up here, since we learned carpenters don't actually cost tools. I actually think another carpenter would be really useful. We might have another one because there's so many trees over here. And it's always something that we could potentially, let's actually remove that for just a second. We could potentially dismantle as well. Let's see. And then there's 1, 2. And I don't think we're going to be sad to have more and more wood planks if it means that we're able to go ahead and if it means that we're able to build houses. Wonderful. And then this woodcutting camp, we can even go ahead and move. Holy moly, this is a lot of trees. Like 17 different trees in range. I like how it can't be put in if there's too many. Let's see. What about right here? And then we can enable it and get a couple people working on this woodcutting camp that we've moved over. So hopefully all of that put together and hopefully a better material storage. Oh, fresh food for the Ambu. Do we like this though? The nauseating smell will linger and dampen the mood of your villagers. But we'll have to see if she's hungry. She's getting a little hungry. That just adds to the point that this mycologist probably pretty important to get going. Well, okay, it's like semi-important to get going. If we're thinking about the fact, oh, our biologist is done. Yes, let's get a couple people over here so they can become ombuologists. And the scouting party is like, let me at him, let me at him. If you send me out, I'll be able to like hopefully go get some more of the salt and more of the clay. Oh, there's quite a lot of the salt over here. We're pretty good at clay. All right, there they go. Our scavenging party was desperately eager to go, and it seems like our Ambu is not eager to eat from the stinkhorns because she's still moving. But that does make me worry just a little bit that perhaps she is not going to, and we probably need to plant and harvest our farm again. Potentially. Well, okay, actually we still have a bazillion and a half beets. Maybe another kitchen? Oh, and now there's 3 nomads that just showed up. who I know we need to start naming more too. All right, the population is going up fast as people are realizing there may be hope and salvation around here. Oh, look at the Biologist's house. That's so cute. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love how we've given the researchers the little robes of research too. We have so much wood. Converting that into wood planks will be a great thing. We have quite a bit of water right now, which is kind of a relief. But what we're really after at the moment, is clay. So gathering the clay will be really useful and really important. Let's see. For now, we'll let this be material storage for basically like ombu mushrooms and the ombu notes and wood and stone. And then probably more things, but we'll work on the rest. Not really clay, because we want the clay to start scooching to other locations. Wow. Okay. Things are kind of like escalating quite a bit quicker than I thought. However, hopefully now that we've got even more people, which is totally not panic inducing, wondering if we're going to be able to have enough people to like help us out with keeping everyone alive. Like curing, for instance, unlocks recipes for more efficient scavenging ration production in the smoking hut using salt, and a boarding house which has decoration, better resistance. That sounds like something a lot better. We also need the ombu kitchen, which we really need to start getting more notes. And look at that, more wood planks. So we can figure out how to make a gigantic like mushroom ball to be able to launch into our ombu's hungry mouth. And speaking of launching it into her hungry mouth, look at that, we do need the wooden trebuchet in order to do that. So let's see, right here, I think, here, okay. That uses up some of our potential mushroom planting zone, but if we leave room for the ombu kitchen to be put over here, then we can at least stay close to a lot of the mushroom areas. All right, actually getting the feeding trebuchet done is going to be super important too. And the smoking hut has been researched. Yes. Okay. I actually think we should go ahead and while we can, let's research the curing so that we can start making really good rations for people to be able to use. Wonderful. I'm kind of happy with this. I say kind of happy because I am wondering what we're going to be doing with all of the extra beets, because I do think we need to have people maybe at least well, harvesting is not what we're looking for, is it? How do I tell people, hey, could you just maybe like these like collect them so that they go somewhere? Is that just priority? Just like, oh, look at that. It is priority, where you can just be like, excuse me, please don't let your beets just sit here and like go to rot, because then they'll, well, here's a decayed mushroom that's gone ahead and become compost, for instance. And here's a bunch of really good mushrooms that, again, if we're literally trying to get a mycologist in here ASAP, maybe we can start having more people haul stuff around. I wonder if in the future we can tell people like to kind of show up and help out. Also, it looks like they're putting the beet soup into the pantry, and look at all of those cooks. That's pretty good. Good. Hopefully the beets getting harvested will be good. And here are some high priority. I guess, again, when everything is just highest and higher, like, or higher and highest, then of course I feel scrambled trying to pick like which direction we should go in to make sure that everyone's gonna be all right. Do we need an air well right now? How's our water situation? Actually pretty good at the moment. And the carpenter, are you done? Okay. We'll check in on that. Maybe we need a carpenter to like finish up building that. Looks like the wooden planks are coming in. Our ombuologists are slowly making a pile of notes. We're building the feeding trebuchet. And I need to learn how to set priorities. That feels a little bit too on the nose. But we do have the smoking hut now, and it makes scavenging rations from various types of food. It needs a ridiculous number of wood planks, but I do feel it being somewhere close to where our scavengers' huts are is fitting. Even if that means that we might have to kind of wiggle around a little when it comes to where the scavenging huts get their food. Alright, smoking hut, that's gonna actually be super important because that's gonna let people scavenge further away. And our scavengers have just returned, and they have brought with them the salt and the clay. And I wish we could go get those nomads, but I don't think we can direct our Ombu just yet. We have not yet earned her trust in that way. The scavenging party is eager to go off to that quarry. Off they go. And this has been a lesson in trying to figure out how to set priorities amongst our people. And I'll disable this for just a moment. And then, oh, look at that. And now we can go ahead and we can have a mycologist who is going to be working. Never mind, I don't want to disable it if it means that I can get some people gathering water for my water tank here. Oh wait, the water tank's full. Never mind. Wow. No, don't deconstruct. There we go. But now we can plant and harvest the mushrooms as long as we have some plots to put them on. That makes me very happy. I like that the mushrooms can just kind of wiggle their way around where the little clay pits are too. All right, so they need, what do they need? I think they need compost in order to, yes, I guess? Requirements, 1 water. And a decent temperature. No wonder gathering all of those free mushrooms is so important. But alright, our Ombu carries on, and the village is going through the growing pains of learning how to set better priorities and how to take care of everyone, where everyone wants to live, and the slowly dawning, somewhat shocking realization that, oh, the Ombu seems uncertain about which path to take. What about the northeast? Oh, there's an abandoned... Oh, it doesn't trust our commands yet! Dang it! Hopefully I'll go there because there's a sleeping spot, there's nomads. An abandoned encampment would be really interesting, but a cold snap, maybe not so much. Oh my gosh, and what do we... Ah, we just finished the curing too! There's also the wheat harvest, time and space to grow, but then we could have a bakery, which sounds kind of amazing. However, what also sounds kind of amazing, let's see, would be food stand provides villagers food for villagers in remote area. I think we need our kitchen for the Ombu. Do we have what we need? Those wood planks though, but I think we need the Ombu's kitchen because she's kind of half starving most of the time, and that's not acceptable. That's why we're getting down what we can with the compost, and hopefully, which improves the efficiency. Can we plant the mushrooms? Is that finally something we can do? I think we have 1 compost available, and I think all we need though to plant the mushrooms is water at this moment, and maybe we'll use more resources in the future, but that's what we've got for now. And it looks like this clay gathering camp has now used up what it can, so let's actually deconstruct it because I think it'd actually be better to deconstruct it and get those tools back and move it, and then have more room for our mycologist. And now the scavenging team is back. Come on, Ombu. Hopefully we'll be able to encourage her to go to the northeast soon. All right, that is an amazing amount of work all over the place. Also, really concerned about how the construction is going on this carpenter zone, but hopefully we'll get that perked up soon. Wow, And I'm also amused because we have indeed we have indeed managed to get completely distracted and kind of topsy-turvied with priorities again, because it's kind of hard to decide, but we'll get there through our growing pains. Just hopefully not with many hunger pains. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.